City of Joburg's demand for services used may end in court as landlords accuse the city of unlawfully changing the rules. They say the billing system, as they know it, bills in accordance with the value of the property. But now it's being done per individual unit of their dwelling. They're now worried because the city is shutting down services for those who aren't paying. eNCA senior reporter Aviwe Mtila has more on that story, and he joins us now live. Aviwe, this has been a thorn on the city's side for some time now, with people saying that, it thumbsucks some of its bills that they send to residents. And now with it trying to kick out people in certain buildings to say that they owe them, they could get into legal trouble for that.
Well, it looks like that matter, Maseko, is actually heading to court this week, as a number of landlords have been frustrated with the new billing system. They say that previously they used to bill the entire building according to its value, but now that has changed and they're billing each and every unit dwelling in a building. For example, yesterday I was at a house where it housed about 500 units, 500 places where different people live. So there, they told me there that initially they'd charge about 2,000 Rand every month for the entire building according to its value. But since now they've brought in these new laws and regulations, for the last 2 months, that price has ballooned to 46,000 Rand, and that's just at one building that houses about 500 units. The other issue, of course, is the backdating of the bills, because they're now implementing this new system, but also backdating from 2018, I understand. I've been speaking to a number of landlords on this matter. I'm about to catch up with one of them on the ground here. Swali, thank you for joining us at eNCA, but I want to understand the situation. I understand you own a number of buildings, but maybe tell us about the difference in the prices now that you have to pay because of this new system, and also the backdated prices.
There's actually huge difference, because, as I said, what has been happening previously is that the city used to charge based on the value of the whole building. Now the city has now started to impose charge per unit, which per unit we're looking at around 96 Rand per unit. So, for example, if you look at the property that we have, like 101 unit, you're looking at 96 Rand multiplied by 101. While previously, this building, which was valued at around 30 million Rand, we were paying around 5,600 Rand. For example, now, since they imposed these charges, that amount, it's now over 10,000 Rand. And they now saying, obviously, they're going to do that back billing from around 2018, which is really something that we cannot afford. In two of our properties, we noticed that the outstanding, because they've done that back billing, it's sitting at 384,000, and they actually request that we are invited to come and sign an acknowledgement of debt, where we will then able to pay it monthly, which is very difficult, because we cannot sign even that acknowledgement of debt, because there is no way that, looking at the size of the building, the recovery that we're getting from the tenant, we will able to afford to even sign and pay that amount.
Wow, 384,000 Rand for two of your properties backed billed from 2018. Have you actually engaged the city on this? And maybe more importantly, let me start here. Where then are you going to take this cost to? Because I understand, can you afford to pay them?
No, there is no way that we will able to afford this. That is really something that we're not going to even entertain. That's why this matter, we are going into High Court. It's supposed to happen this week. Hope we got the date already to take the matter to High Court, because we have engaged with the city already, and they are not prepared to listen, except that we will receive reference number and we will be invited just to sign acknowledgement of debt. And that is what the city is standing, to sign an acknowledgement of debt, which we not prepare even to sign that acknowledgement of debt, because we can sign it, but going forward, we know we'll face the challenge. We do know that obviously the next step from the city of Joburg, it will be to come out and terminate our services, which is now electricity, which has got nothing to do with these charges of refuse and removal, as well as the cleaning levy that they also back billing, because you find that in some of the property they were not even charging it, and which is their mistake, not our mistakes.
Some of the landlords were even suggesting that they now have to put this new cost onto, for example, their rents, which impacts their tenants.
Yes, definitely, it's what is happening, and we then end up fighting with the tenant. If you look at many of our property in the CBD, they actually not fully let the way it used to be. I mean, there was a lot of demand previously of accommodation in the CBD. Now nothing. People are choosing to say, I would rather stay in Soweto where I'm not going to pay this kind of amount just for water. I mean, you're looking at electricity, then there's sewer, then there's refusal to move out. So people feel that, you know what, I would rather stay in the squatter camp or stay in Soweto backroom, because the city has become so expensive where people who stay in the city cannot afford to pay the rent, including all these operation costs that the city is imposing on us.
Okay, thank you very much. This is, of course, one of the landlords, Maseko, that you've been speaking to, saying that for the last 2 months they've had it tough because of the new system of billing imposed by the city of Johannesburg. What's even more hampering their pockets, they tell me, is that the backdated bill. Of course, this new system recently implemented, but it's backdated, having to back pay costs from 2018. You heard, yeah, just 2 of those buildings cost about 384,000 Rand to this specific landlord of those 2 buildings. But of course, we are in touch with the MMC of Finance and his communication team, and there are suggestions that we will be getting a response within today. They're quite keen, in fact, to respond on this matter.
All right, senior reporter Aviwe Mtila, let's leave it there for now.